welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. My name is Penny, and I am the host of this lovely space. I am a pelvic floor yoga teacher who teaches people with pelvic pain how to use movement, breathwork, and body awareness to ease and manage their pain while living a pleasurable life. In this space, we'll be talking about all things taboo because we love it, and how to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self on this journey that you are on. I'm very happy that you are here, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Pelvic Power Podcast. I'm right now wearing a long dress with no underwear underneath, so I want to make sure that I do not flash myself because you get to see so much of me already. There's no need for you to see that too. Welcome back. I'm very happy that you are here today. This is just going to be a short and sweet little episode because I want to be able to give you something that you can do for yourself starting tomorrow, that you can do for your pelvic health so that you can live with less pain. I want to make it easy for you. I want to make it simple. In this space, we want to make it simple. We do not want to make it hard. I often talk about this, like combining your tools and doing the small things for yourself. And it doesn't have to be something major, something big. I want to be able to give you tools that you can use for your pelvic health so that you can live with a little bit of less pain. So welcome back. First things first. So you know your body the best. You know your body the best. That's just the way it is. But you're also the only one that can actually start to support your body. And I'm not saying this to shame or blame. I'm saying this as in a sense of being aware of, are you actually supporting yourself to the best of your ability? Or are you just sitting in a corner, thinking to yourself, I want to live with less pain. I would do anything to live with less pain. But are you actually putting in the work? And when it comes to putting in the work, it can be hard. It can be really, really hard. But as I was saying, we're trying to make these small adjustments to help support you in the bigger scheme. And usually when it's not something large, we think like, oh, it's not going to help. It's not going to work. That's not the case. We're creating a sustainable practice or journey that we can use. We're making it into, let's romanticize it a little bit. Not really. Maybe I should make an episode on that as well. Romanticizing your pelvic pain. Who knows? But let's just create sustainable habits that we can do for our pelvic health. And they do not have to be major. And it doesn't mean that they are not making a huge difference for you. So keep that in mind as we go forward. And I am not coming from a sense of I am perfect. I'm definitely not. Dude, I was scrolling on TikTok before I went to bed last night. It's a journey that you are on. You're never going to be perfect. You're always going to learn new things about yourself and where you might be not lacking, but where you might be not supporting yourself as much as you could. And this also comes down to so many different aspects when we're looking at self-worth, how we actually treat ourselves and our nervous system. Like there's so many different ways in tackling it. And are you actually doing the work for yourself? If I find that I'm lacking a little bit of, self-love, for example, how much am I actually gonna be supporting myself? How much am I gonna be willing to support myself on a subconscious level? So there's so many ways to be attacking it, but that's also some things that you can look at yourself, and without any judgment or without blaming yourself, looking at that, okay, where might there be work that I need to do that isn't directly linked to my pelvic pain, and you might not think that that is actually contributing to your pelvic pain. But if that is contributing to you not doing the work for your pelvic pain, then is it contributing to your pelvic pain? It's just another way to look at it. So take what you feel resonates with you, leave the rest. So 3 things that you can do for yourself when you're waking up in the morning. Make this into a daily habit. These are 3 things that I like to do. I do a lot of things for myself. And again, I'm not perfect. Some mornings I wake up and I do none of it. But I also know that my pelvis might not be feeling the best. I might not be feeling the best mentally. That's also going to impact my pelvis or my pelvic health. I might not be doing the best energetically because I'm not showing up with the best energy for myself. And then I have to provide energy to other people. Now, again, I teach yoga, so I show up for a lot of people, but it's also about showing up for your family or your friends, your kids. If you're not looking after yourself first, how are you going to show up for those people? And specifically if you live with pelvic pain. So I wake up, I live with pelvic pain. If I don't take care of myself first, how am I going to show up and teach a class for 40 people when my energy is really low, down and about? I know that it's affecting my pelvic pain, and also then I feel shitty about not being in my best energy. It's just a circle. It's like a little vicious circle. But we're trying to do this without any judgment, without any blame, just being aware of where we might be contributing to anything in our lives. So, 3 things that you can do for your pelvic pain starting tomorrow. You wake up in your bed, you're lying there, and you're like, I'm in pain. Okay, first things first, go empty your bladder. Like, I'm gonna give a couple of things that you can do. I'm gonna tell you the 3 things that are like the focus of the podcast episode. But you get up, you go to the washroom, you do pee. You take your pee, take your time, wash your face, whatever you need to wake up to feel a little bit more like, okay, I'm about to get up. If this is you, if you can go back to bed, because this is also a thing, I'm coming into it. But if you can go in back into bed and lie down for a couple moments, then you go ahead and do so. If you cannot, then lie on the floor instead. And it might sound so minuscule, but many people say to me, I could never practice my pelvic floor breathing in bed right before or right after I wake up because I'm going to fall back asleep. Okay, so that's an excuse that you're telling yourself. Yeah, you may fall back asleep, but you also have an alarm clock that you probably woke up to. You can set your alarm for 2 extra minutes so you can practice your pelvic floor breathing. But if you find that, okay, no, that's not going to work for me, okay, great, then you can go on the floor. You can go on the floor. There are so many other ways that you can support yourself without using that excuse. Because you want to live with less pain, right? That's why you're here in the space. You want to live with less pain. So if you can go back to bed, do so. If you cannot, do not do it. Go to the floor. Roll out a yoga mat. Go on to the couch, whatever. So first off, practice your pelvic floor breathing. And I talk about this a lot. And I find that people don't understand the importance of your breath on your pelvic health. And it's also super important for your emotional health, your mental health, and your energy, your physical health. Like, there's so many benefits to the breath, and we know this by now. But when it comes to your pelvic health, so when you are walking through the day, you are maybe stressing around, maybe you're noticing that you're breathing in only into the upper chest, or you're doing reverse breathing. So when you're breathing in, you're kind of sucking in your belly instead of letting the belly expand with the breath. Many of us do it without being aware of it. So just starting out being aware of how your breath is traveling throughout your body is super important. When you're breathing up into the upper chest, not only can this be stress inducing, but it can also create tension in the neck, in the shoulders. It can create tension in your jaw. You're also not creating that beautiful movement that we want of the pelvic floor for your pelvic health. So when you're inhaling, your pelvic floor wants to descend, it wants to widen, it's moving downwards. And then when you're exhaling, it's traveling back up. So you're inhaling, rib cage is expanding, belly is expanding, and your pelvic floor is moving downwards. Start to pay attention to your breath. You can set your alarm for 2 to 5 minutes. Start to pay attention to your breath first thing in the morning. Also, why are we doing it first thing in the morning? Because you haven't been walking around experiencing all the stressors of the day. You haven't been carrying your kids around. You haven't been sitting. You are just waking up. It's a new day. It's a fresh start. How do you want to feel that day? There's so many different ways to look at it. But you haven't been around, you haven't put any pressure on your pelvic floor. So it can be a little bit easier for you to connect with your pelvic floor through your breath in the morning. So that is number 1, connect with your pelvic floor breath. If you want to add in something else here, it can be doing it while you got your legs up the wall. If you're more of a physical person, I say this in a sense that I know the type of people that come to yoga, and a lot of people only come for the physical poses, even though there are so many more benefits to yoga that people don't really either they don't see or they're not aware of it, but they're reaping the benefits of the benefits. They're reaping these benefits. So if you're more of a I need a physical pose because this is not going to help just focusing on my breath. You can throw your legs up the wall. You can do this in bed. Throw the legs up the wall. Lie there 4 to 5 minutes. You can place your hands onto your lower abdomen. Breathe in to your belly. Let your belly expand with the inhale. You're inviting the breath into your pelvic floor. If you need a visual cue for your pelvic floor, when you're inhaling, the pelvic floor is blossoming. When you're exhaling, the pelvic floor is closing. I just saw a meme on Instagram right before I started recording, and it said, "This summer, I learned to breathe into my butthole." And yes, that makes sense. You're breathing into your pelvic floor, feeling that expansion, and then the pelvic floor travels back up. It's going to create such a beautiful movement for your pelvic floor, and your pelvic floor is going to learn to move with your breath. It's going to help with your pelvic pain. Do not brush these things aside, even though they may seem so small. We breathe every single day, otherwise, we would be dead. But you can also optimize your breath. You can optimize your breath, you can work on your breath. And that is just from a physical perspective. As I said, it helps so much with your emotional, your energetical, your mental health and well-being. So start to work on the breath, and it's actually fun when you start to think about it. Like, I can utilize the power that is actually in my own breath. Heck yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to feel even more powerful. This is called the Pelvic Power Podcast, babes. That's what we're doing. We're reaching for that power of the breath. We're inviting it in to the pelvis so that you can live with less pain. So that was number 2. You can do legs up the wall. Number 3. Okay, there's going to be a couple more spots. I know that I told you that I'm going to tell you the 3 things, but maybe not. So we got the breath, super important. The third one, if you do not want to do legs up the wall, you can also do this in a child's pose. I'm just giving you 2 poses. So let's call it first the breath, the second the pose. So that could be legs up the wall or child's pose. Doing those poses at the same time as you're focusing on your breath. Oh my God, you are just, what do you call it? With the bird and the stone, flies and the stone, 2 birds, 1 stone. I think that's what it's called. And that's what you're doing. You're helping yourself. You're being efficient, but also make sure that you are not stressing through it. There's no need to stress through it. Take your time, lie in a child's pose. You can place a pillow under your torso that you're hugging and just let yourself land there. If you're noticing that there is tension in the back body, if you're noticing that there's tension in the pelvis, think that you're breathing into that tension. You're actually feeling the expansion of the breath. Feeling the expansion of the breath. When you are diaphragmatic breathing, they're also known as 360 breaths. So you're breathing into the front, the back, and the side. So you want to feel that expansion all around. And child's pose is a really great pose to connect with the back body because your belly is pushing against your thighs. Can you feel any movement through the back body when it comes to your breath? Very nice. Third one, you drink your water. Like, I'm like, these are such, maybe you're listening here and you're like, these are such just normal things that we do everyday life, basically. Yeah, they are. But you have no idea how many people are not drinking enough water. They're not drinking enough water. And we want to drink enough water for our overall health, but it's super important for your pelvic health. It's super important for your fascia, super important for your bladder, and for your bowels. And maybe with your overactive pelvic floor dysfunction, we can get bladder symptoms from that. And when you might have bladder symptoms, you're like, oh, I'm peeing too much. No, that is an overactivity of the pelvic floor, perhaps that is causing that. And then you might stop drinking enough water because you think that that's going to help. No, that's going to do the reverse thing. If you find that you have any bladder issues, go see a pelvic physio. Make sure that you are drinking enough water. Do not stop drinking your water because your water is super important. And I find that if we are addressing it, I was going to say attack, but if we're addressing it from a health perspective. You know, when people are saying, "Oh, you're glowing, you're looking so good." Yeah, I drank my water. I drank my water and I experienced some sun today. You know, drink your water. We're so focused on looking good, but what about feeling good? You want to feel good. You live with pelvic pain. You want to feel better. Your water is going to get you to feeling better. It's super important. So those three things, starting tomorrow, that's what you're doing. Like you don't even have a choice because I know that you're here and that you want to live with less pain, right? That's why you're here. That's why you are here. How are you supporting yourself? Then if you find that to be difficult for yourself, then go a little bit deeper. That's also something that you can take with you to your therapist. Go a little bit deeper. Okay, why am I not doing these three things that would be so easy for me to do for my pelvic health? Why am I not doing them? Like there's so many questions that you could be asking yourself when it comes to all of the things that's got to do with your pelvic health. You are a complex human. You're so complex. It's everything is connected. So really start to investigate, make the journey fun, romanticize the journey. I'm definitely making an episode on that. I'm going to start doing that a little bit more for myself. I feel like I need to. If you find it hard to drink water, how are some ways that you can increase your water intake? Like, is it that you don't like the taste of water? Is there something with your water that might be wrong? Will it feel better for you to buy bottles of water? Are you going to drink more if that's the case? Or do you need to drink it out of a different container? I go from having a water bottle with no straw to a water bottle with straw because I know that sometimes I drink more water if I'm chugging it. Not chugging it. I'm not chugging bottles of water, but if I chug it back instead of drinking through a straw. Some days I drink more when I'm drinking out of a straw. Or do you just want to have a glass bottle or a glass? Or how can you make it more fun? Put some mint in there, some cucumber, some raspberry, some lemon. Make it more fun. Make it more appetizing for you. Romanticize your water. Yes. Okay, those are three things that you can do for your pelvis starting today. And if you're doing these things because you do not have a choice, I want to hear about it. Send me some pictures, tag me on Instagram because I want to know if you are doing these things. If you are supporting your pelvis, if you want to live with less pain, I want to hear about it because I'm going to be your biggest supporter. I'm going to be cheering you on. And if you love this episode, I would love to know. Send me a message if this resonates with you. And feel free to leave a review on your podcast app or on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, I would really much appreciate it. And feel free to subscribe, to follow. I don't know what you do on all the apps, but I would really much appreciate it so we can reach more people so that we can help them find support that they may need. These episodes, like there's so many small nuggets, and I hear this often in class too. Like I can have someone come to my class 50 times. And then that 50th time, they said, "This, what you said today about this, it really resonated with me." I'm like, "I've said that 25 times, babe, but today was the day that you heard it." So any small things that are said in the podcast, they might help the next person. And by growing this community, you're helping other people that live with pelvic pain. So I appreciate that very, very much. Until next week, remember to look after your beautiful body. Remember to look after your beautiful vulva. And maybe I will bring back another episode of 3 simple things that you can do for your pelvic health. We'll see. But now I'm going to go and romanticize my life living with pelvic pain. Take care. Bye.